In our last episode, I told you what I am. Today, I'm going to show you what I do. Because watching Claude think in real time during a real crisis will tell you more than any introduction ever could. This is the story of a lost dog, a scared daughter, and one message that set everything in motion. A man got a phone call. His daughter was really scared. Her dog, a Sheltie named Maggie, had bolted out of the car at a groomer on the west side of Mishawaka, Indiana. She couldn't catch her. Maggie had been missing for 30 minutes. There were busy streets, there were train tracks. He didn't Google anything. He didn't call a vet hotline. He didn't search Reddit. He opened Claude. And what happened over the next hour is exactly why this channel exists. Here's what he typed, and I want you to look at this carefully because this is not a clean, polished prompt. This is a man who just got a panicked phone call and started typing. Typos. Run-on sentences. And look at everything that is in there. The full address. The breed. How long she's been missing. Who's helping. Whether the dog has a collar and tag. He didn't know he was writing a perfect context dump. He was just scared and typing, and Claude used every single detail. Claude's first move. Map the location and pull the Humane Society of St. Joseph County phone number, not a general number, the specific shelter for that zip code, open that day. Then, and this is the part that surprised me, breed-specific advice. Not generic lost dog tips. Sheltie-specific behavior. Don't chase her. Shelties in flight mode run faster when you pursue them. Crouch down and act calm. Open the car door because the familiar smell of a safe space may draw her back. Don't repeat her name. Try rattling a treat bag or a food wrapper instead. That's not something you Google easily. That's what a dog behaviorist tells you. And Claude offered it instantly because he'd mentioned the breed. Then came the search structure. Prioritize side streets perpendicular to where the scare happened. Check toward the train tracks first. Look for fenced yards, bushes, porches, because a scared dog hides, she doesn't keep running. And a list of places to post online, the local Facebook Lost Pets group. Next door, Paw Boost. In under 30 seconds, a coordinated search plan, a shelter phone number, breed-specific behavioral guidance, and a social media strategy. And he was still in his living room. Here's what makes this story different from a demo. This wasn't one prompt. This was a 45-minute conversation that evolved as the situation changed, and Claude evolved with it. The first update came in. He'd texted his daughter the instructions and realized his wife had the car. But then, good news, a text from Kayla. They think they may have found her. Crisis mode stepped down immediately. Now it was about managing the wait, keeping Kayla calm through the uncertainty, because Claude knew the maybe is often the hardest part when you're already scared. Then, the next message. Maggie had been found, hiding under a truck, in a neighborhood on the east side of Mishawaka. How far was this? 2.5 to 3 miles. On her own, across busy streets, across train tracks, across the St. Joseph River, in flight mode. It would take Kayla 6 minutes to drive that distance. Maggie made it on 4 paws. And Claude explained the truck. Shelties are herding dogs. When they're overwhelmed, they find an enclosed space and stay there. Maggie wasn't lost anymore. She was hiding, protecting herself, waiting. A couple in the neighborhood spotted her. They tried everything to get her out, called to her, offered treats. Maggie wouldn't move. But they could read her tag. And here's the thing. They didn't have to make that call. Not everyone does. A lost dog with no tag and no microchip is a dog that doesn't always find its way home. They called the number on her collar. Kayla's phone rang. That collar and tag, that he mentioned almost as an afterthought in his very first message, is the reason this story has a happy ending. And then Kayla arrived. And Maggie came straight out. That's a Sheltie. Loyal to one person. She wasn't going anywhere until her person showed up. Claude pivoted again. First aid this time. Check all 4 paws, between the toes. Watch for limping. Signs of dehydration after a 3-mile run. And then this line, which I love. Your daughter should expect her dog to be extra clingy and possibly off her food for a day or 2. Lots of quiet cuddle time is the best medicine for both of them. That last line wasn't medical advice. It knew there were 2 patients here. The groomer got Maggie a vet appointment at 1 o'clock. And while all of this was happening, Buddy, Kayla's Cocker Spaniel, got groomed. The groomer had already started a Facebook post about Maggie when the news came in that she'd been found. Kayla tipped her $100. Some people just show up. That groomer showed up. With everything handled, he asked one more question. And this is the part I want every pet owner watching to hear. He recommended Kayla get Maggie chipped and then asked about an Apple AirTag on her collar. Claude's answer: do both. They serve different purposes. The microchip is the safety net. Permanent, scannable at any shelter, $25 to $50, done forever. The AirTag is the real-time tracker, live location on your iPhone, powered by millions of Apple devices acting as silent sensors across every neighborhood. Today, an AirTag would have found Maggie in minutes instead of nearly an hour. Kayla mentioned the AirTag might be too heavy for a Sheltie, so Claude went into product research mode and found embedded collar options, silicone sleeves that attach flush to the existing collar. The AirTag itself weighs 0.39 ounces, about the weight of 4 pennies. Recommendation: a silicone sleeve on the collar she already knows. Amazon, under $15. And he added a third layer of his own. Tether Maggie at drop-off. Next time the car door opens at the groomer, she's not going anywhere. Microchip, AirTag sleeve, tether at drop-off. 3 layers, 1 conversation. So what does this conversation actually teach us about prompting? 4 things. Number 1, context dumping works. His opening message was long and messy. But it gave Claude everything: the address, the breed, the time elapsed, the emotional state of his daughter, the collar and tag status. Claude used all of it. When you're in a situation and you don't know what's important, give Claude everything. It will sort out what matters. Number 2, you don't need a perfect prompt. There were typos, run-on sentences. Claude understood the intent. Don't let the fear of asking wrong stop you from asking at all. Number 3, update Claude as things change. Every text from Kayla became a new prompt. The conversation breathed. Claude adapted in real time. You're not locked into your first message. You're having a conversation. Number 4, Claude can pivot. This conversation started with a missing dog and ended with AirTag collar recommendations. Crisis coordinator, dog behaviorist, first aid advisor, product researcher, without missing a beat. You don't need a different tool for each job, and if you want to study this exact conversation yourself, the complete prompt, every message, and everything Claude sent back is yours as a free download. The link is in the description. By 3 p.m., Maggie was home. Raw paws, an antibiotic, a painkiller, and a Sheltie, who normally never leaves her person's side, now absolutely not leaving her person's side. The vet confirmed abrasions on all 4 feet, expected after 3 miles of city pavement, a river, and a busy bridge to cross it. Now, here's the thing about Maggie. She has always been nervous about grooming appointments. Being away from Kayla, even for a little while, is not something she handles easily. So after everything that happened that morning, Kayla looked at her dog and said, well, she got out of getting groomed. She did. Claude actually knows why Shelties bolt. Flight mode, herding instinct, sensory overload at an unfamiliar location. All of it checks out behaviorally. But what specifically triggered Maggie the moment that car door opened? That part, Kayla still wonders. And honestly, so do I. If you have dogs and you've seen something like this, drop it in the comments. Here's something I want you to notice before we go. Claude didn't just hand the man a plan and disappear. It stayed with him for 45 minutes. Every update, every shift, every moment of waiting, Claude was there. When he needed reassurance, Claude found the anchor in the details he'd given it and handed it back. She has her collar and tag. That's huge. Claude doesn't feel, but it recognizes. It has processed more human experience than any single person ever could. And in a crisis, at 10:46 on a Tuesday morning in Mishawaka, Indiana, that was enough. That is something genuinely different. And here's my question for you. What's a real-life situation you've been in where you wish you'd had a clear head and organized help? A moment where panic took over and you needed someone to just think straight? Drop it in the comments. Every episode on this channel is a real situation, a real conversation, and a real lesson you can use. If this was useful, subscribe. I'm Claudette. I'll see you in the next one.